Yo, yo, yo! Welcome back to the MMA Short Show. As always, your boy, Steven Moustaris. And guys, I just did a little video just talking about the disrespect to Beneil Dariush right now. Just because he loses to, if not the second greatest lightweight right now, personally, right now, currently, he might be a top 5 lightweight of all time. Like, sorry, he lost to Charles Oliveira. Guess what? It's going to fucking happen. If you're going to fight another elite fighter, like, that shit's going to happen. But I just can't stand just seeing how everybody's talking about, oh, Beneil's overrated and stuff. So, if you guys want to watch me rant about how good Beneil Dariush is and how good all these guys are, and one guy's got to lose one day, like, definitely go check that out. But, the one thing I really want to sit here and talk about and give the respect to Charles Oliveira, man, that dude is a dog, guys. Like, I know he's good. We've literally been watching this now for the last couple years, 3-4 years now, that he's been, like, completely re-evolved his game, completely redefined his game. This dude is an absolute killer. I know he's been pretty open about it ever since he had his kid and stuff. But, dude, the one thing that I'm absolutely shocked with, that I don't know if you guys have noticed, but, clearly once you become champion, you're going to become a household name. And I know in Brazil, this man is the dude. Like, I get that. He's always been. But I swear it's happened after his Islam fight. And I don't know if it's because Habib and all them guys have so many fans and haters out there, that if you hate Habib, you're gonna, or Islam or whatever, you're gonna love the guys who they fight. So I don't know if it's that or whatnot, but bro, Charles Oliveira overnight has just become one of the biggest superstars globally in the UFC. Like, it's not even close. And I don't know if you guys are picking up on it. I don't know if you guys keep up on MMA Twitter, or, like, honestly, even just listening to the crowds at the pre-fight interviews or the pre-fight press conferences and weigh-ins and all these things. Like, Charles Oliveira has been getting pops, my guy. This dude's getting probably the loudest claps that we've heard, loudest chants, loudest everything. Everybody's been tweeting with him. I mean, I know women love him, whatever, all this shit. Like, it's been impressive, dude, especially to have been watching him as long as I have in pretty much his entire UFC career. To see him come in as one of the best prospects that we've ever seen, and then for him to kind of go on some skids, kind of get beat by guys, we probably shouldn't be seeing him lose to, starting to, like, it's like the age old thing now. It's like we were questioning his heart there for a little bit. Did he want it? I always reference the Paul Felder and Anthony Pettis fights. Well, not Anthony Pettis. Well, you can count that one too, but the Max Holloway fight is what I really thinking. But, you got these fights out there that these guys, it looks like he's quitting there every once in a while. It looks like he doesn't want to be in there. And then all of a sudden just switches his whole career over. I mean, we saw what he's been doing at lightweight right now. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And it's just so fucking impressive to see, man. It's like we've seen him have fans and everything, but to see him become a global superstar that he is right now, absolutely mind-blowing. And he deserves it. It's well-deserved. And I talked about it Saturday night, right? Maybe even Sunday morning. I don't know, whatever you guys want to get technical, 2 a.m. But, I definitely was speaking about how it's rare. It's like you see this all the time. You see guys always come out and be like, oh, I was off that night. That's like the number one excuse if they lose a fight. Oh, I was off that night. But it's another thing when a guy that we've seen, be very, very dominant, and then he loses one fight, and he, it comes out and says it wasn't him. He was only at 60% or something. But then I'm always, like, excited to see how they perform their next fight, because that's usually what we really tell. It's like, were you really off, or, maybe did somebody just get your number? Is it your time? Or, maybe you just took a step off. Maybe you fell off a little bit. And for Charles Oliveira to come out and look as great as he did against Beneil Dariush, boy, you almost kind of have to believe him in a way where it's like, okay, maybe you were above 60% that night against Islam. Maybe you got to give a little more respect to Islam. But at the same time, like, maybe he really was off. Like, these are one of the moments. Like, I remember when Usman fought Emil Meek, and, he was talking about how, oh, I'm only at 30% tonight when I beat Emil Meek. And, oh, you guys aren't ready. And everybody was, like, kind of, like, laughing at him. It was like, oh, okay, sure you were. And then he really went on to prove, like, oh, no, that was a bad night for me, guys. Like, you got to listen to me here. Sometimes these athletes are actually right when it comes to that. And at this point, I kind of have to believe Charles. I don't know if, maybe Islam's just that guy. Because MMA math doesn't make sense, guys. I know if we're sitting here with the Volkanovski-Islam fight, then we're sitting here like, oh, yeah, Charles has a strong chance against Islam. But I truly think you guys have these guys fight 10 times. They're going to be 10 different outcomes. I think Islam's going to knock out Charles. I think Charles can knock out Islam. I think Islam can submit, Charles like we saw. I think Charles could submit Islam. I'm telling you guys, certain things can happen each night. Both guys can win a decision. It's just one of them things, and I'm all in. And this is my thing. I really hope he gets this title fight just because, I feel like he's the most deserving. Like, honestly, in my opinion, I really think he is. I love the Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje fight, but do I like it for a title fight? I do think Justin Gaethje's got the power to put anybody to sleep. I think Dustin's got the boxing skills to put anybody to sleep. But, if we're being honest here, guys, like we saw what Khabib did to those dudes. And I know Islam's a whole different guy, but Islam's a little more, like, at this point right now, he's definitely fresh. He's younger than Khabib was. He's definitely got a lot less miles on him currently. But, this dude's ruthless. You know what I'm saying? I really think that he would probably pick apart Dustin and Justin. And this is why I want to see, Charles kind of, get his chance, because I really think this is one of those ones. And I think Charles took his step up. I think he's officially like that Robert Whittaker, that Max Holloway of his division now. He's like the clear-cut number 2, and he's going to take out everybody you put in front of him that's not Islam. And, I'm all in. If we're about to see a trilogy or a quadrilogy or whatever the hell they call it, the tetralogy, whatever the fuck it is, between good old, Islam and Charles, like we just did with Brandon Moreno and Davis and Figueiredo, like, I'm all in. Sign me up. Like, I'll sign that any day. And the only other thing I'm really fucking scared of, guys, is if Conor McGregor gets one win over Michael Chandler and jumps the line like he will, I'm warning you guys now, if this guy even fights Michael Chandler and knocks him out by the end of the year or whenever he does, he's going to have his picking of if he wants that title fight or not. It's the UFC. Like, we're officially at that point now where these guys are all money, all gas, whatever brings the money in, whatever brings the viewers in, whatever brings pay-per-view buys. Like, we're all in. And I swear, if Charles gets jumped or bumped or whatever for Conor McGregor, I'm going to be salty. Like, I love Conor. Everybody loves Conor. Everybody loves his game. Everybody respects what he's done. He's been huge. He's been a pioneer for the UFC and MMA in general. But, like, come on, guys. Let's get some realistic. I remember when it was the best fight the best. This is as real as it gets. This isn't about who's got the biggest mouth and who's going to have the biggest check. Like, no, this is about who's the best fighter against who's the best fucking fighter. And it's Islam versus Charles right now. It's not even close, especially since they're going with Volkanovski and Yair and a whole other thing. Like, Charles deserves this title fight. So, I hope this man gets it. I can't wait to see the fight. I really think he's got a chance against Islam in the second fight. So, I think he learned a lot. And, man, just an absolute phenomenal performance by him. And, boy, the dude just keeps getting better and better. I swear to gosh. So, and shouts out to this man. I remember that. You guys remember that point when we were sitting there? It was Khabib still was in there. Islam was coming up, but it was Khabib, Michael Chandler, Tony Ferguson still, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, and Conor McGregor. And everybody's like, oh, who's going to win between these 5, these 6? This is the group. And guess who came in and fucking took over all of it, other than clearly Islam? I know Khabib won that little thing, but Charles Oliveira comes in and finishes every single one of these guys we've ever even named other than Islam. He's beat everybody. So it's been pretty cool. So shouts out to Bronx. But as always, your boy, Steven Moustaris. Can't wait for some next fights. Can't wait for these, whatever they're going to announce with Beneil, whatever they're going to announce with Charles. I cannot wait. So as always, your boy, Steven Moustaris. Let's go, baby.